morning, YouTube. Long time no see. Some exciting things have been going on in my life, and so it's been a little hard to get some recording done, but finally I am bringing you a vlog for December. Today we're talking all things bonding with my classes. My students in honors are looking more closely at bond energies and bond lengths and really simple stuff compared to what we've been doing. They had a quiz yesterday, so I definitely had to do some grading today. My honor students have another quiz. We finished up our unit on bonding. I chose to teach it using a unit menu, and that went very well. So the last thing we want to talk about is lattice energy. So my students have a quiz today, just a quick half sheet quiz on lattice energy. So I actually have to finish getting that done and ready to go. But then I thought I would check in with you guys and just kind of tell you what I'm doing with my classes for today, like the actual activities that we're doing, and then I'll catch you up on all the fun stuff going on. So I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. I just finished teaching my second period class, and today we are starting our unit on covalent bonding. As I mentioned, we talked all things ionic, now we move into covalent, and I would say one of the toughest things that my students struggle with from the get-go is being able to differentiate between ionic and covalent. It's like somehow they really have a tendency to mix the two together. Today they took a quiz on lattice energy. I was able to get that copied in time, fortunately. I was a little nervous. And then we transitioned into electronegativity, and we looked at the electronegativity trend. There is a poll that I have modified. I'll show you. It looks something like this. So you can see it's like the same exact kind of model in the poll goal. So they read the definition of electronegativity, and then they circle which model represents that. And then what I like so much about this is that it has students compile data and then answer questions based on that data. It also kept things kind of short, so I didn't have to spend the whole period talking about electronegativity. So I did like the ability to kind of go through electronegativity fairly quickly. I use popsicle sticks to call on students because this year has been so rough. And if you watched my back to school vlog, I think I talked about this because I did fray or a friend the first day of school, and it was absolute crickets when I asked students to share out. So it's been pretty rough. And I finally said I just can't, oh sorry, we're in between. That's our bill. I said I gotta do something about this because I'm just wasting so much class time with the wait time. And I've done the popsicle sticks before, but I haven't really needed to do it I would say for a few years, but this year I really need to, which is so funny because my classes are jam-packed with students. I have so many kids, but nobody wants to talk. So I have these popsicle sticks that I wrote students' names on them, and I just store them in a beaker. I actually leave them right over here. I'll show you. I leave them right over here, right over there. So I put them all right over here. And then when my students, are getting kind of quiet, I will take them out, and they're like, oh, she's getting the popsicle sticks. But it's one of those things that I just have to do it, or I'd be doing so much wait time for students to answer questions. And I like doing it because it also forces me to interact with students that are typically very quiet and more introverted. And I feel with such large class sizes, sometimes students like that can go unnoticed. So I think by calling on them, using the popsicle sticks, it also allows me to assess their understanding as well. And sometimes it's not where I'm verbally talking in class and it's, I'm on the spot and the student's on the spot at the same time. Sometimes it's just one of these things where I ask the students to come up and write something on the whiteboard. So I'll just kind of come around and I'll give them a marker and I'll ask them to do, for example, when we were doing this today, I said, can you write your answer for, column 1? So I had a whole bunch of students do that. I use this as an opportunity to also review periodic trends and the factors that affect attraction. So that was a really good part because students have a tendency to forget about that stuff. It's kind of they study, and then they quickly forget. Retention is really tough this year, really, really tough. So I'm doing my best to try to like interweave concepts throughout a unit. If I can bring a concept back, I try really hard to do that. So we've talked all about electronegativity. So now what I wanted the students to do was look at the differences in how bonding is shown in ionic versus covalent compounds. So my colleague made this really great sheet. I'll show you what it looks like. And it's entitled, How is Covalent Bonding Shown? Right? So we've already done ionic bonding, as I mentioned, so you can see it has some ionic compounds and it's got the covalent compounds down here. But what I love about this sheet is the simplicity. You know, the students analyze this model up at the top. They answer questions about it, like, for example, you know, what do the dots represent? Like, why does a certain structure have 32 electrons, like CCl4? Why does it have 32 electrons? And then it really brings them through the terminology and like how we describe covalent bonding in terms of bonding pairs, non-bonding pairs, sharing of electrons, you know, satisfying the octet rule. So it's a really easy, very simple activity for the students, but very effective. And it's been a while since I've done this activity, and I have forgotten how effective it is in helping students to differentiate between the two types of bonding. So we did this today. We didn't quite get through the whole thing, but I wanted to make sure that the students were okay with the front page, because that really sets like in any good like POGL activity, that those first few questions really set the stage, and the students have to get those questions right in order to be successful on the subsequent questions. So I did have an opportunity to go through every single question using my popsicle sticks. And then on the back page, my students were working on that for only about a couple minutes, but I did ask them to finish this for homework because there's only a few. And I would say there's only like 3 questions, and then the extend the idea is just like another extension. So the plan for tomorrow with this is to make sure the students are comfortable with this. I might even give them a little like quarter sheet quiz on it. They don't know that though, but I might give them a little quarter sheet just to see like what they have, you know, retained from what they learned. I might even let them use this paper on the quarter sheet quiz. We'll see. But homework compliance is a struggle this year. So, but I told the students, I said, you know what, I think we need to do a couple of homework quizzes, because, you know, I think that that's one way to make sure that both you and I are held accountable in terms of making sure what you don't understand and you get the help that you need if you're not understanding it. So, so I think I might do that tomorrow. But it'll just be like a little short, like just like I'm saying, quarter sheet, something small. So that's pretty much what I'm doing for honors. My AP students, my one class has lab today, the other class does not. I want to do an inquiry lab. So I want to do this hydrate lab, but I want to do an inquiry version, but I'm not 100% sure I have the copper 2 carbonate that I need to do this. So I am going to go check to see if I could find that in the stock room. And then if I can't, then I might need to do the anhydrous version, but that's okay. Because either way, it's a decomposition reaction with the copper 2 carbonate. So I am going to go check that out, and then I will be back with you and let you know if I actually find it. I hope I do. Unfortunately, this is all I have. It is not a hydrate, but that's okay. I'm going to still try it. I'm going to try the experiment because I actually haven't used the anhydrous form. So I'm going to do this now, and we'll see how it goes. Looking pretty good. It's taken some time. I would have much preferred the hydrate, because one of the questions I wanted to ask them in the lab is like, how could they test, you know, whether or not the compound was a hydrate? But it definitely looks like it's slowly converting into copper oxide. So it's going to take a little bit of time. I added about 2.25 grams of the compound, but I think that might be too much. I think I might restrict it to maybe 1.5 grams, because if not, they'll be sitting here all day trying to convert it. barely had enough time to get ready for my next period class because I forgot I had to run off a different version of the quiz. So I had to go quickly do that. And then I tried to get prepared for the next like week. So I was making copies, and then I figured it was a good time to do that while my product was cooling. I have yet to do the calculations though, so I'm gonna do the calculations, see how it turns out. And then I still have a lunch period that I will definitely use to eat lunch, but I will probably have to use that time just to finish the calculations and then decide, ultimately what I'm going to be doing for lab today. I hate kind of doing it to the, very last minute, but doing lab is so important to me that I want to make it a positive experience for the students. So I always tend to do the labs myself before I actually do it with the kids because I want the data to be nice. Although I will say, like, students often learn more when the data is not nice. But I'll let you know how it goes, and hopefully all will go well and I'll be able to finish everything in time for lab today. Okay, well, I just had 2 of my 4 classes and went pretty well. That activity went really well the second time. I think it really helps students to be able to understand the major differences between ionic and covalent. I did do my calculations before I heated up my lunch. They worked out really well. My students are going to be doing this whole inquiry lab. I'm hoping that they'll be able to do it in 2 periods. I don't know if that's possible. So I am going to have them investigate the properties of hydrates, calculate the water of hydration for copper 2 sulfate, and then hopefully transition into this inquiry part where they ultimately have to design a procedure. So they're going to be designing a procedure, identifying the data that they need to collect in order to determine the compound that they have, the actual formula of the copper containing compound. So I'm hoping it goes well. And then there's some really great follow-up questions. So this lab is something that I modified from the Zoom doll book that I have. They have like a whole lab book that goes along with it, and I like it because it's not very intense like some of the labs that I'm seeing from the AP guided inquiry manual. It's definitely something that's more manageable. You could probably do in a smaller amount of time. So I'm excited to try it. This is a good class, so if anybody can do it, I know that they can. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat my lunch very quickly, and then I have to go make copies of the lab because I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to be doing the inquiry version. So I have to go make copies of the lab, and then hopefully I'll be able to show you guys how they did today. Well, I made it to the end of the day. It's been quite a long day. It is 4:10. The reason why it's so late is because I forgot I had a turnkey class that I was teaching today. So I'm teaching one of my favorite turnkey classes, 10 ways to ditch those worksheets. So it was a really good group of participants today. They were very actively talking with me and engaging with me, so it was a lot of fun. I had a really good group, and it made things go by so much faster. And so I kind of forgot that I had that after school today, but that's okay. So I am just absolutely exhausted because I taught period 7, 8, 9, and 10. The lab went awesome. Like, it went off so well. The students did a great job cleaning up. They were even able to get to the inquiry part where they designed their procedure, and we didn't get to any calculations. So the plan is to give them some time tomorrow in class to do their calculations, but I am really happy with the progress that they made today. Hopefully tomorrow their results will show that they were able to obtain the correct formula of the copper 2 carbonate, but we'll see. But either way, I think it was a valuable experience to have them actually practicing, like writing a procedure, having them actually create a data table, identify the data that they need to collect. And I really like this aspect of like bringing prior concepts back and back and back again. Like, we just finished with our unit on bonding, and we talked about lattice energy and ionic compounds, covalent compounds. So I thought it would be good to kind of sandwich a hydrate lab in there, because obviously hydrates are a completely different class of compounds in terms of the fact that there's water molecules trapped inside the crystal lattice. So yeah, so I think it was a really good experience for the students to bring a lot of those concepts back, and I'm excited for their data tomorrow. Now, I know I said I was going to catch you up a little bit on like how things are going with me, because I haven't really posted it in quite a few weeks, but things are going really well. I've just had some exciting developments and things going on, nothing that I can share just yet, but I've been busy working on some things, and I hope I'll be able to share them with you in the future. But one thing that I'm just absolutely loving is I started mentoring for the College Board. So I'm an AP mentor, and I absolutely love the program. It's been really inspiring to work with my participants. So I've been spending a lot of time on designing really just like presentations and activities and things that we can brainstorm about during our sessions. And then on the weeks that we don't meet with our mentees, I've been spending time with the other mentors and talking about best practices. So it's been a really wonderful experience, a very rewarding experience. I have signed up to do it again in the spring, so I'm really excited to be working with new teachers again, and I'm flattered that some of the teachers that I'm working with now, they want to work with me again, so I'm really excited for that. And obviously besides working for the College Board, I also will mentor and coach teachers on the side as well. And I've just been, over the years, I've gotten so passionate about helping teachers teach at their best, because it is just such a tough job. So being able to support teachers with resources and support teachers with advice and meeting with teachers and giving them ideas for things that they can do to really help themselves out in terms of making this job a little bit more manageable for them has been so incredibly rewarding, and it's kept me really busy, so that's really one of the reasons why I haven't been here. But I enjoy it. I love it so much, and I'm so grateful that teachers put their trust in me to work with them and kind of steer them along and help them the best way that I can. So I think that's it for me. I am going to head out of here, but I just wanted to say I hope you're finding time to enjoy all the good things about the holiday season. As always, I welcome your feedback on this video, so please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I hope to check in with you guys in a few weeks.